Do is have a pledge of allegiance and ask you to join us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And just one note I'd like to make before we get into the regular part of our meeting, but that is to thank the planning and zoning staff. You see a couple of them here that are involved greatly in it, but the ones you don't see are the engineer and the road department and those people that help out and help everything get right on the ground, so to speak. So it's not just Todd that is the planning and zoning. He has a lot of staff report with him, and that includes the commissioners. And I guess I better include the attorney too, because we try to get him some business. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And the first item we have here on our regular agenda is a nomination and selection of the 2022 Planning Commission Chairman and Vice Chairman. Those nominations are now open.
You up for another round?
Sure.
I'll nominate Rich Tatton for chairman.
I'll second.
Other nominations? I'm tempted to say that you people in the audience may recognize some of the imperfections of the panel when they re-elect me to it, at least. So I'll call for a vote on that to renominate Richard Tatton as the chairman for planning and zoning. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes from our prior meeting, and are there any questions on those?
Mr. Chairman, do we need to elect a vice chairman?
Yeah, we also need a vice chairman.
Thank
Are
you.
you up for vice?
Nominations for vice chairman.
I'll nominate Michael if he's up for it. I'm willing if that's what everyone wants.
I'll second the motion.
Any other nominations? All those in favor of Mike O'Brien as being vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays? We'll try to get him to come on time from now on since he's vice chair.
It'll be tough.
And did minutes.
So the minutes haven't been completed yet. Doris is up to 13 pages. So we'll have those completed by our March meeting. So she's just finalizing the last little bit of those minutes.
And I know Doris has been working diligently on those. Todd and I looked at some of that today, and it's lengthy. And I'd like to ask if anyone has a conflict of interest from the panel on any agenda items. They speak up. Hearing none, we'll move on. Review and possible approval of Schofield Mountain Estates Phase B amendments, one located on parcels 2A-173-7 and 8 for Matt Brown. Dave Levanger is representing Mr. Brown this afternoon.
Probably be a good idea to check with Todd, see if he has any concerns.
I don't have any concerns. So they've adjusted the lot lines in, can't remember, July, I believe it was. July, we had a final approval for Phase B. They had a couple of goofy lines that kind of made an L-shaped. They've now amended that to where the lot lines are straight, and they just created one other lot. So Mr. Brown owns all of the property, and so with him owning all the property, they could amend those and not have to get signatures from anyone else because he owns those properties. So it's straightening up the lot lines and creating one lot from the remainder of those other two.
Todd, is there a minimum lot size in that zone?
Yeah, so in the mountain range, when it's part of the mountain home development, it's 1 acre. And so it's just slightly over 1 acre, and they have enough frontage on that parcel also.
How many years have we been working with Mr. Brown on the property up there?
What?
Dave, maybe you can
Dave
help
started,
us.
what, in 2005?
I don't remember.
So they've been working at it for about 16 years or so, 17 years, working on those developments.
Talk to me, guys. What do you want to do on that parcel?
I'll make a motion to approve the change.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Dave.
Just a quick note, I think the reason that we went to a minimum 1 acre was because that's what the health department requires for a septic system.
Thank you for that. The next item we have is review and possible approval of Schofield Mountain Estates Phase 1, Amendment 1, located on parcels 2A-57-6 and 7
Yeah.
for Matt Brown.
Dave's exiting stage right. So with this one, it's phase 1. They're adjusting the lots for a potential access to other property. So they've just shifted those lot lines back and then will allow a potential access for property. So there's no new lots, just making them slightly smaller.
It still meets the minimum.
Yep, still meets the minimum requirements.
So Todd, if I'm looking at that map correctly, then that cul-de-sac could potentially continue the road on, is that,
Yes.
okay?
Talk to me, guys.
No concerns with any parcel development or properties adjacent to it, right? That wouldn't reduce them or anything?
Mm-mm.
I would be willing to make the motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. We make that approval for Matt Brown. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. The next item we have is review and possible recommendation for approval to County Commission for a change to the zoning district map from M and G to R-4-8000, located on parcels 2-147, 2-431, and 2-353 for Blackhawk Ranch. And did you want to present some things on that and tell us what you're doing?
Thank you for having me again. We have, after our last presentation, we took all of the county comments as well as the community comments. We watched them again on YouTube and wrote them all down, and we've identified and put back into the project almost everything that came up. So going into, well, that's just the redo of the whole thing. Going back to the one you're talking about. It's just these 2 lots, right, Todd? He read 3. It's just 2. It's,
The reason there was 3 red is in your application when it was advertised, were identified those 3, yes, the 020147. So that was the legal advertisement.
I see. Okay.
That's why that was included in there.
Okay, so again, that one's gone. Nobody can get to that because it's surrounded by railroad. This one is not on because we don't own it. So what we did is in 0431, we took these 2 areas and turned them into the higher density area. The rest of the area is going to be zoned to half acre, minimum half acre all the way around. And if you look at the totals, there's a few half acres in here, and the rest of these are an acre. Down in 0353, those are all 1 acre lots. Well, they're all minimum 1 acre. Some of the lots over here are significantly larger in these corners. One of the questions also was about the road. This road is between 4 and 6% grade, so it's sufficient to be able to service that grade-wise. So everything, again, that we heard about these areas, we've incorporated into these plans. That's really all I have. Any questions?
And it looks as if you have two separate entrances to that one there. Is that correct?
Which one?
The one you
lower
were
one?
speaking. Yes, the lower one.
We have hang on. We have an upper entrance up here, and then we have a lower entrance down there.
And the lower would just serve those 8 lots?
No, we don't know how exactly. Let me be really clear about this. This is a representation graphically of what the topography currently lends itself to in terms of size. If you look at these clear areas right here, those are either cliffs or well, they're cliffs. So nothing can be built there. So we would have to work out a way to get the road over. We're gonna have to do some road work in here to get them all connected. But the hashed areas that you see like this, that's the only area flat enough to build a house on. So these areas up here, this is all cliff up here. They could build a house right there along that edge maybe. So that road may have to switch over a little bit here or there to be able to allow that. So any of these areas right here that are just clear, there's no way you could build anything on those because they're topographically challenged, to put it mildly.
So are those even viable lots? And I understand this is just all concept right now. In the scope of things in the end, when you have to come back for the actual subdivision approval, do you see those even as being viable lots?
Well, they're lots because somebody could build a house right there and that could be their backyard. They have to be mountain goats, but it could be their backyard. The houses can be here and then this can just be natural backyard sloping down there. So if you're asking, is somebody going to build a retaining wall here? Absolutely not. The cost is prohibitive anywhere around here to do anything like that. So topographically, when it comes back for subdivision, some of these roads might move over a little here and there. There might be a little bit, there's been a lot of work done, and when we show you the other side, I'll show you all the civil engineering that's been done. But much outside of what we've done, moving things over a little bit here and there, it would be really, really difficult. So subdivision maps should look pretty close to that, although it might have some roads connecting and a few other little pieces in there, but.
So as an example, lot 13, how much is that buildable space?
Not very much, almost not enough. So they may be able to come back and reclaim a teeny little corner of that for a little pad, but there's not a whole lot. And 14 might not even exist at all when it finally comes back in. So we can draw these pretty lines all we want, but at the end of the day, when we come back in for building permits for each one of these houses, we still have to have setbacks from the roads and everything else. And there's just not a whole lot you can do with that.
Quick question. So lots 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, there's a irrigation pipeline that runs through basically the center of your buildable area. What do you plan to do there?
Well, again, when we come back for subdivision, all those will be plotted on the map, and we'll find out where those are, and they can't build over it just like we couldn't, no matter where they would be.
Todd, is there any issue as far as the potential property buyers, as far as the irrigation line going through their property, private property?
So there'll be an easement there. The canal company has an easement now, and so they'll have to be able to maintain that pipeline. State code requires us, when we get an application for a subdivision, to notify any irrigation companies. So they're aware of it now, but they'll also get an official notification if this all goes through of here's what's happening. So the canal company will be involved, and so they can be able to access and maintain their pipeline. So they'll have to have access to maintain that.
And part of our job when we sell any lots is going to have to be, we're going to have to disclose all this stuff. First, we're going to have to find it and make sure we've identified it properly. Then we're going to have to mark it. Then we're going to have to disclose it.
Todd, what's the right-of-way required for these roads?
So any new roads that are built is a 50-foot right-of-way, so it's 24 feet of asphalt, and then ditches coming out on a 3-to-1 slope. So 50 feet for the road right-of-way for those roads that will need to be built.
So one of my concern is basically along anywhere 12, 13, 14, at the very top, it's, 30 to 40 feet wide, as good as you can see from Google Earth. Does that give you guys concern with maintenance and snow plows and things of that nature? And then if you go down where he has his switchback to come off the hill, I'm somewhat familiar with, I don't know how you're gonna get a radius in there, but maybe that's not my worry, but it is. I'd hate to be the snowplow driver either going up or down that.
You're correct. So right now, with just the proposal or my recommendation would be to have that a 1-acre zone. So there may be some width issues by the time you put in a road and the slope of the hill and the setbacks, that there may be some of those lots, once they come in for a subdivision approval, that may not be buildable because of the setbacks and the road requirements. So right now, from a zone change perspective, having a 1-acre lot, allows it to have larger lots. Some of those lots may not work out by time we go through and sit down, okay, here's our requirements for our road. Now, when you lay it down and have your engineer put everything together, what's actually there? Right now, it's just existing roads. We don't have the distances and the widths and everything. So we're just looking at it, okay, they could put 1-acre lots in. All the details of those widths and setbacks requirements will be addressed through our subdivision standards when it comes in for concept, preliminary, and final. So there may be some of those lots that just might not be able to make it.
We know that, but there's 2 reasons that we know that. One is, so we might have to take, let's just use this for an example. We might have to take 14 and 13 and merge them, 12 and 11 and merge them. We don't know how all that's going to work out once we do all the surveying. We also know that we're probably going to lose the corner of one and maybe this bottom corner down here. We know that there's going to have to be some retention basins to maintain, to make sure that we have the exact same water flow on the property going off the property that there's always been historically. So we know that there's going to have to be some movement and some things around in roads, lot lines, and doing and keeping track of some of this retention areas. So all of that's going to have to be on the engineering reports that we're going to have to present at the time when we come in for subdivision approval.
I do have a note here from one of our members, Scott Bruno, and he has looked at this and he supports the changes there and would like to see 2 roads existing for the development. 2100 West and New Road will be connected to existing Helper City Road. This will relieve some traffic on 2100 West. So,
Yeah.
and he did say again, I'm supportive of the zone change. So that's from Scott. Everybody's quiet. Talk to me, guys.
Upon seeing this information and seeing the staff recommendations, I'd be willing to make a positive recommendation as per the staff recommendations on these changes. So that would be changing parcel 02-0353-0000 to rural residential 1-acre zone, and parcel number 02-0431-0000 to R14 8,000 for parcel numbers 24 through 33, and then the remainder of that parcel R1 20,000, with the third parcel being surrounded by the railroad being excluded from any zone change.
I'll second it.
It's moved and seconded. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
One name.
Oh. I can't see, Kurt, so I'm sorry, I don't want to see you there. The next item we have is the update on Blackhawk Ranch zone change on parcels 2-430, 2-432, 2-433, 2-438, 2-439, 2-499. Todd, you've got some comments on this?
Yes, so just a reminder, at last Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted for a negative recommendation on the proposed R1 8,000 square feet. So with that, that motion's been made and it has to go to County Commission. Part of the conversation was to have just an update of the maps showing the exact, well, some of the conceptual lot layouts and some of the potential zones that there may be. So that's just an update on that item, just for your information, to fill in some of the blanks that were left from last meeting. So there won't be any motion on this because it was done last time. We're just providing it as an update for you guys so that you're aware of what's going on.
And that update moved the half-acre lots to 1 acre lots?
So,
Substantially, we can go over it.
yeah, so based off of state code, once a applicant makes a proposal, Planning Commission has to review it and give a recommendation. Then our legislative body, the county commissioners, then takes that item and they can approve a zone change or deny a zone change. So they can approve what was requested, they can deny what was requested, or they can approve and say, as a county commission, based off of our general plan, based off of all the information we received, the county commission would approve X zone or not approve it. So they have broad discretion based off of as elected officials on what zones they can approve or not approve.
So Todd, can you clarify again what the original proposal was and what this has amended it to?
Yes, so the original proposal for these zones around Eagle Cliff subdivision and Kenilworth, the original proposal was an R1 8,000 square foot zone.
And now this update shows these parcels as being what size?
Yep, so these ones are showing, and Mr. McCombs will go through it, everything on the north side of Highway 157, a minimum of 1 acre, with a lot of them on the northwest corner larger than that. The lots on the south side of 157, a lot of them 20,000 square feet or almost half acre, mixed in with some other acre and 2 acre lots. Then the other parcels immediate adjacent to Kenilworth are half acre, and then the south side of Kenilworth are 2 acres and larger. A lot of them are 5, 6, 10 acre lots on the south side of Kenilworth. So that's kind of what it is looking like, is 1 acre on the north side, half acre on the south, and half acre around Kenilworth.
If you'll lower the lights, we can go over it really quickly.
Where's 431?
Fairly simple. 431 is top left of Helper. Okay, so this is the center part. Because the way that the parcels were laid out originally, they cross boundaries, they cross roads, they're all over the place. And they have several parcels that are the same number all over the place. So what we did, let's just start here in the southern side. The southern side is all of these are half acre and larger. You can see that these in the center area are the smaller ones, and the rest of these are much larger. You can also see where the water courses come through, that there's nothing there. We're not going to impede any water courses as they go through. If you look at the south side of 157 here in the center, you have a couple really large lots here along the side. You've got the unimpeded water course going through their backyard. And then what we did is to give the Eagle Cliff people a little bit of a barrier. We changed the lot line here. We made this be 2 acres, changed the lot line here so that it was much larger as well. So they have a little bit of a buffer between their properties and then these what are going to be 1 acre. If you go into the corner, I can't see it, but I'm sure you guys can. The north of 157 is the 1 acre, right, Todd? And the south of 157 is the half acre, but based on this one. So if you go then to, let's make sure I do this right. If we go to the top part of Helper,
Kenilworth.
excuse me, Kenilworth. You go to this side, and we wanted to show where the new water tank would potentially be. We wanted to also show where the 7,000 foot line was here and here, and a little bit in that corner, because from here to here is a cliff. So we just wanted to make sure that other than these little pad area right here, it's not too bad. So these are all half acre or larger in here around Kenilworth. Down further, and again, what we did is we tried to impede people as little as possible. And we tried to make sure that the roads went around existing areas. We don't want to add any more congestion in here. So we made sure around here that it went out around the outsides. When you go down further on the south side of Kenilworth, these lots are really large. Some of them are really, really big. You have some in here that are 1 acre or 2, but I think this is zoned 2 acres and larger, right, Todd? Mm-hmm. So these are much, much larger lots. And so that's what we did. So again, we listened to the tapes again. We watched the YouTube thing. We took all of the notes of what people were saying and what was on there, and everything that we could do, we've incorporated those into the plans. And that's essentially it.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask Commissioner Jensen, do you have any comments you'd like to make from the commission side of things and the input you've received?
Well, we've received a lot of comments in addition to the public hearing, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, and we intend to make a decision on February 16th in our commission meeting. And we appreciate Blackhawk's efforts to try to mitigate the concerns that were brought up initially. And so yeah, we're working on our end to make sure that we address both the public's concerns as well as the property owner who has some rights on their property. So I don't think I have anything more to add to that.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions from anyone? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 10, and that's updates from you, sir.
So I don't have anything big. We have a couple of subdivisions that are working on some preliminary drawings with their water and sewer. I had a meeting with the health department. They've updated their regulations, so we met with them. So make sure we're in line with what they want for septic systems and being able to connect to sewer. So they have some new rules on if subdivisions are multiple lots, they'll have to connect to a sewer system if they're within 1,350 feet, if they're like 9 lots or larger. So those things we met with. So as subdivisions come in, we'll verify with the health department they meet their new regulations, and we'll have a letter from them before they come to this board that says, hey, they've met the health department's requirements for septic, or they're close enough to sewer, they'll have to be handled by Pry-White. So those, you'll see those letters being attached to subdivisions as we move forward.
Have you had other activity, people wanting to do subdivisions in our community?
So there's a couple in Ballpark. They're looking to do another few lots, about 10 lots in Ballpark. That's it for as far as multi-lot. We always get, the 1 and 2 lots coming in, but multi-lot, that's the next one that'll probably be coming in as Ballpark.
Thank you, sir. Anyone on the panel have any questions of anyone? Hearing none, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.